Hi guys, today's lesson is over equivalent fractions, but before we begin with that, we need to review one thing, and that is taking a number and multiplying it by 1. Hopefully this is a review for most of you here. We're going to say today that anything times 1 is anything, alright? That's just an example, and what that means is this. If a number is multiplied by 1, the number does not change. Look at some of the examples here. Here's what we're saying, that 9 times 1 is 9. Notice the number 9 is now our answer. It does not change because it's multiplied by 1. That's going to be important to remember today. 1,000 times 1 is 1,000. 0 times 1 is 0. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. So anytime we take a number times 1, the answer or the number does not change. Okay? We're going to use that concept today with finding equivalent fractions here. And equivalent fractions are fractions that are the same, but just written in different ways. So we're going to explore today why 1/2 is equal to 10/20ths. Now some of you can do that in your head there and understand why those are equal, but we're going to show you a way to find equivalent fractions and also using what we just talked about in multiplying a number times 1. Alright? A strategy you might see here to find equivalent fractions is this. Let's look at 1/2 here. Let's look at 1/2 and the 20 that we're going to put on the bottom here. Alright? And we're just finding out from this example how we get 10 over 20 and why that works. Alright? If you notice here, we wrote the fraction 1/2 times, and then we have what looks like to be a giant 1 here. Alright, with the line right in the middle, and then equals, we don't have anything in the numerator, in other words the top part of the fraction, and we have 20 in our denominator, bottom part of the fraction there. Alright, and you can see here some numbers already written in, and I'll make it a little bit more solid for you here in a little bit so you can see why exactly these work. Alright, here's the thought process behind this. We're going to say to ourselves, alright, if they give us this much information to find an equivalent fraction, 2 times what number gives me 20? Well, hopefully right now in your head, the number that's coming to your mind there is 10. And you are correct. 2 times 10 equals 20. Alright? Now, if we take 2 times 10 on the bottom, we have got to do the same thing on the top. In other words, take whatever number is on the top, in the top part of the fraction, times 10. Whatever we did on the bottom, we're going to do on the top. And now 1 times 10 is 10. And so now we see that 1/2 and 10 over 20 are the same in value, but just written in a different way. Why does that work? Well, if you look right here, 10 divided by 10, if I asked you what 10 divided by 10 is, hopefully you would say that's 1, which it is. Alright? And we know that whatever we take times 1 is whatever number we started with here. Alright? So again, try to follow me here. I'm taking 1/2 times, well, we put 10 divided by 10, which is the same as saying 1. 1/2 times 1 should equal 1/2. And if you ask, well, it's not 1/2 over here, you're right. Remember, we're finding equivalent fractions, so today they're going to be written different, but they have the same value because we took it, in essence, times 1. All right, let's see how this works on the next problem here for an example. All right, right here, we have 3/6 times 8 over 8, which is equal to 24 over 48. How did I get that? Well, I had to think to myself, 6 times what number gives me 48? And I know that 6 times 8 is 48. If I took 6 times 8 on the bottom, I'm going to have to take 3 times 8 on the top. Alright, and 3 times 8 is 24. So 3/6 is equal to 24 over 48. Now both those fractions equal 1/2, but again, we're just rewriting we're writing the fractions in different ways, but they have the same value. And again, 8 divided by 8 is 1, and so we know here that anything times 1 is anything. All right. So in this case, 3/6 times 1 should be 3/6. It's not written as 3/6 over on the right because it's just written in a different way. That's what we're finding today. All right, moving on here. If we want to find, let's say we want to find an equivalent fraction to 3/4. All right, we have some options here. All right, let's say we want to find an equivalent fraction to 3/4, and we're going to take the bottom number times 2. All right, that means we have to take the top number in the fraction, which is the 3 times 2. And I'm going to make my little 1 right around this because I know 2 divided by 2 is 1. All right, so now we can find what the equivalent fraction is to 3/4. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. And I see now that 3/4 and 6/8 are equivalent, just written in a different way. All right, you try now to find an equivalent fraction to 7/8. All right. Again, I can take the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator. I can multiply that by whatever number I want if I want to find an equivalent fraction. It just has to be the same number. So let's say I want to take this times 4. That means if I take it times 4 on the bottom, I got to take it times 4 on the top. And again, I'm going to put my 1 right around my 4 divided by 4. And forgive me if my 1 doesn't look very good. And now I'm just going to multiply across here. 7 times 4 is 28. 8 times 4 is 32. 7/8 and 28 over 32 is the same. Okay, just written different. And finally, the last one here, 4/5. Again, I can take it times anything. All right, I'm going to take it times 100 on the bottom here. And if I take it times 100 on the bottom, I got to take it times 100 on the top. Again, I'm going to put my 1 around my 100 divided by 100 because I know 100 divided by 100 is 1. 4 times 100 is 400. 5 times 100 is 500. And so now I've just written an equivalent fraction to 4/5. Okay, just written a little bit different there. All right, so that is your lesson over equivalent fractions for today. Just remember they're fractions that are they're the same in value, but are just written in different ways. Thank you.